Love is love. My plan going into the private school was to stay as invisible as possible and to finish the year without running into any trouble. It sucked enough joining the school in the middle of the year, now make that a private school with one clear demographic. I was not looking for it. I got my first taste of what the people in town were like on the very first day that we moved in. My neighbor spoke to me as if I did not understand English. He was pretty surprised when I answered him in perfectly good English. "It's nice to meet you, sir. I'm Owen Kaneko, and I am Japanese American," I said and left him staring after me. That was not even the worst that I had experienced, so I did not let it faze me much. I knew that at school I would have to endure some stupid jokes because I was Asian, but I had stopped caring a long time ago. I wish that my father had not gotten transferred and I had remained at my multicultural high school where my friends were, but I understood that the pay was better and we needed the money. So I decided to suck it up for my final year and a half of high school. On the very first day, a soccer ball nearly knocked me off my feet as I was checking my class schedule. When I checked the direction that it was coming from, I noticed that it was from some guys who were playing soccer in the quad of all places. I kicked the ball back to them and turned to look for my next class. "Hey, wait up!" someone called after me. I turned around and saw that it was one of the guys who had been playing soccer. "Hi," I said when he came to stand in front of me. He was wearing what seemed to be his practice clothes even though it was still early in the morning. "You've got moves." "What do you mean? I just kicked the ball back to you," I shrugged. "You play soccer? We are looking for a replacement for one of our teammates. The school is pretty small, so we do not even subs," he said. "I'm not that good. All the experience I get is from playing in the park with my friends," I said. He laughed. "You're funny. Hey, you're the new guy, right? My name's Nathan." He shook my hand. "Nice to meet you, Nathan. Maybe I'll show up for practice. Now I have to figure out how this map works." I gestured to the map that I had. I did not get a tour of the place due to the rush to get enrolled and my guide had ditched me, so I was a sitting duck. "Oh, this is right next to the gym. I was on my way there to shower. We had early practice," he explained. So I guess I made my first friend at school, and he would be the only friend I would make all day. Rich kids can be so mean. I had an idea due to the many teen movies my sister Kim forced me to sit through, but I did not think it would be the case. Most of the people I talked to assumed that I had no understanding of the English language, and this other girl kept on pronouncing my name wrong even though it is a pretty common name. There were very few people of color but no one who was Japanese like me, but they were nice enough to me. So my day was not very bad, but I already knew that I was going to hate that place. I considered not going to the soccer tryouts, but I figured that it was worth a shot and at least Nathan would be there. When I showed up, I heard one of the guys, who seemed a bit on the cocky side, say something about me getting lost on the way to chess practice. I internally rolled my eyes at how stereotypical he was being, but I did not pay much attention to him. "I see you have met Brody. He's insufferable, I swear," someone suddenly said beside me. I looked at it was a dark-haired guy that I had never met before. "I'm Ian, Nathan's half-brother and team captain. Nathan said that you were good at soccer? Show me what you got," he said. We first had a warm-up and then a small game which I was pretty nervous about. I was a bit on the smaller side, but I made up for it with my speed. It was not even that hard to play, and I even scored a goal, which was something I had not even expected. When we were taking breaks, I spoke to Nathan, and I got to know him even better. He was a cool person, and we had a lot in common. Before the end of the day, I had his number and I promised to text him later on, which was when I realized that I had forgotten to let my mother know that I was going to stay after school. I endured the scolding much easier than I had done in the past because I was happy that I made a new friend. But I reminded myself not to mistake his kindness for anything else and fall for him. I was far from ready to tell my parents that I was gay, and I assumed that he was straight, due to how everyone in town conformed to one image. I suddenly got a follow from him on Instagram, and of course, I scrolled through his page. I did get carried away though, and I ended up on a post from 8 months ago, which was a picture of him and a guy captioned, "Happy birthday, babe." So that meant that he was gay, but unlike me, he was out. It made sense though because of the flamboyant way in which he seemed to dress when he was not in school. Then I made the ultimate blunder. I liked a picture of him from over a year ago, which is the easiest way to get caught stalking someone. I guess I stared at it in horror for too long before I removed the heart. I got a text from him a few moments later. Nathan, I see I'm not the only stalker here. Me, I'm so sorry. Gosh, I must seem like such a creep. Nathan, we're all stalkers. He just got caught. I could not help laughing at his text, and we started texting back and forth for the rest of the night. He was so easy to talk to and very open. He told me that he got that it was hard for me to adjust to our school. He still got treated differently because he was gay, but it was not as bad because his brother was really popular, but there were still some people like Brody who had teased him about being gay for years. It was also a very old town, and the older people had very outdated. But no one would dare say anything to him because of who his family was, but it was not so easy for those who were not wealthy. Nathan, I don't like this place though. I hope that one day I will live anywhere else. Me, I think that you will like the place where I used to live. The people there are much more diverse. Nathan, you should take me there sometimes. So then, I got more settled into the school, and soon enough, I was kind of accepted. Occasionally, there would be a jerk who says some uncomfortable stuff here and there, but I was getting a bit popular because of how good I was with soccer. Nathan and I were almost inseparable. We were always together. I was never very social due to my strict parents, but I soon found myself sneaking out to see him. I could not help it. We just had so much in common, and we got up to a lot when we hung out. He didn't like hanging out where the other kids did. He spent his time in places kids from our school would never be caught dead in. You see, a lot of people only see this town as some snotty town full of rich people. But that is not the case. It is here where the rich never want to set foot where you will have the most fun, he said one evening while we were having some coffee. But does your family know that you go to places like this? Or that you consort with lowly scholarship kids such as me? I asked. You are not lowly in the least, and no, I know that my dad would just make a huge fuss. He is already disappointed enough in me because I am gay. The only reason he did not kick me out was that my mother passed away at the time when I came out, and she asked him to take care of me. He revealed. And what about your half-brother? I asked. My father had an affair. The woman dumped the product with us. My mother raised us like brothers though, he said. I'm so sorry about your mother's passing, which was all I could say when I faced with the reality that his life was not as perfect as I thought it was. Guess I had something to learn about stereotyping. Over the weeks that I spent with him, I began to develop a little crush on him. He was one of the most decent people that I had met in that town. The time that I had spent getting to know him had led me to care deeply for him. I could not help looking at him sometimes when he was not looking, hoping that no one could notice the way that I was looking at him. I did not care much that my parents did not like him very much. I think that they did not like me going out much and having a life outside school, which was not surprising because they were typical Asian parents. It did not matter that I had been born in America. I still got treated the same way as my cousins in Japan did. We had compared notes on parents. And like any teen, I started to rebel. I would have a lot of arguments with my parents when I got anything lower than a B, and they blamed Nathan and soccer for that. And naturally, when they told me to stop hanging out with him, I only wanted to see him even more. I kept most of what happened from him, but he could sense when I was not okay and would offer support to me. Through all of it, he became my peace, and my feelings for him only intensified. One day after a game, he offered to drive me home, which he did not usually do. But I agreed because that meant we would spend more time together. When we got in, he did not immediately drive off though. We started talking, and suddenly we were talking about love. I probably should start driving so that you could get home soon. Your parents must be waiting for you, he said. Maybe, and they will not even be impressed when I tell them that we won, I sighed. Do not be too hard on them. They do mean well, he suggested. Well, I pretty much do not have a romantic life because I do not even know if they will approve of anyone that I bring home, I sighed. I'm sure that your mom cannot hate all the girls in the world, he chuckled. "Guys," I said. "Wait, you're gay?" he said. He looked very happy at what I just said. "Yes, but no one knows though," I sighed. "Well, at least now it's not impossible," he smiled shyly. "What's not impossible?" I asked. He pulled me in closer and planted a kiss on my lips. I did not hesitate to kiss him back after I got over the initial shock. My heart was beating so fast when I was kissing him, and part of me was convinced that it was a dream. But when I pinched myself when he pulled away, I got the confirmation that it was all real. "You're so dorky," he chuckled, and he kissed me again. I could not sleep that whole night because I was buzzing. The kiss kept on replaying in my mind, and I felt it all over again each time. Things between us continued at a steady pace, with occasional kisses and hanging out. We started dating, kind of taking the school by storm. We were an interracial gay couple, which was kind of rare at the school, and we did get a hard time because of it, especially me, but I did not let it get to me at all. My parents did not find out for a while, and I think it was because they did not run in the same circles as the other parents. When anyone said something about us when we were in earshot, Nathan did not hesitate to tell them where to get off. His ability to be unapologetic himself was one of the reasons that I had fallen in love with him. With each day, I fell deeper and deeper in love with him. However, there was soon trouble in paradise when I went to visit him at his house. Nathan and his brother were usually alone at the house, and I had never met his dad before. But then, he walked in on me and Nathan in a bit of a compromising position. All of the clothes were on and we were cuddling, but I got a bit of a bad vibe from his dad. He did not even shout, he just gave Nathan an icy look, and he was up. "You know what I said about you bringing your friends here?" he said. "Oh, come on, this is my boyfriend. I told you about him," Nathan said. "I'm surprised he lasted. Why can you not date someone like Allison? At least your last friend was from a reputable family," he said, then turned to walk away. His father's words made me remember that I would never be able to fit into their world. So I said my goodbyes and left. I didn't respond to his text messages after that day. I was so miserable without him, but I knew that it was for the best. I was not some pretty rich white girl, which was what his father clearly wanted for him. I stopped going out much except for soccer practice, and my parents seemed very concerned about me. They kept on tiptoeing around me and whispering to each other when I was around. One day, I decided to get to the bottom of it. "What are you keeping from me?" I asked one day when we were all sitting together and watching TV. We were just wondering, are you gay?" my mother said. And suddenly the temperature in the room increased. "Yes, I'm so sorry if I disappointed you, but yes, I am gay," I said. "See? I told you," my father said to my mom. "Wait, what? Had they known all along and not even said anything?" "Hey, I was not sure. There was a spectrum after all," my mother sighed. "How do you know about this? And why are you okay with it?" I asked. "I thought I saw you and your boyfriend a few days ago, but I was not sure about it. I knew we had been hard on you about school and all, but we just want the best for you, be it love or school," Dad said. I was waiting for someone to come out with a camera and tell me that I had been pranked, but I had no such luck. "Sorry I have been rebellious," I said. "It's okay, you're a teen after all. Now, I saw on your calendar that you're going to have a test on Friday. I think you should start studying. You should also bring him over for dinner," my mom said. "We broke up," I said. "You are hopeless, my son." My father face-palmed as he stood up to leave. My strange interaction with my parents reminded me of what happened between Nathan and me, and how it was not his fault that his father was like that. In all honesty, I missed him more than I could ever imagine. His dorkiness and kindness had left such a gap in my life, and I realized that I had messed up. "Mom, can I go out? I need to see Nathan. I think I changed my mind about breaking up with him," I said. She was silent for a while and just stared at me. I was so sure that she was not going to say yes. "Okay, but if you get back together, bring him for dinner sometime," she said. I pretty much rushed out of the house as I shot him a text to meet at our favorite cafe. As expected, he was not that impressed with my behavior. "You know that I love you, and my dad is prejudiced for no reason," he said. I know, but what he said on that day got me, I said. I forgive you, but you owe me a lot of kisses, he said. Okay, later. Now. But we're in public, I protested. And so what? He smirked. I answered him with a kiss. The end. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome.